Lionsgate is holding a screening of The Long Walk, where you need to walk on a treadmill faster than 3 miles per hour for the whole movie. If you stop, you'll be escorted out of the theater and you can't watch the rest of the film. So I have to be a part of this.
That one I loved from the very beginning. When I first heard it, I was like, okay, this feels like movement.
Francis Lawrence, the director of The Long Walk, has never really tickled my pickle. He's done all the crap Hunger Games movies, all of them bar the first one, and I just can't get down with these films, apart from that song by Lord.
This is the start of how it all ends.
Yellow Flicker Beat, banger, absolute banger.
I never watched the stars, there's so much down there.
I kinda liked Water for Elephants with Death Grip's Finest and Robin Pattinson, and I Am Legend had its moments, but I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Francis Lawrence's work.
Francis makes the Hunger Games, man. He makes these like large films. This isn't one of those.
So when the trailers for Long Walk came out, I was fairly reluctant about even going to watch this film. I don't care if Letterboxd said it was 3.7 or 3.6 out of 5. People must obviously be delusional if they're giving this such high marks. But I understand why people are avoiding it. I was one of those people until I was told I had to do some errands. And me knowing me, I looked at film times and was like, oh, you know what? The Long Walk actually works for me. I'll go watch that, do the errands, boom, come home. And to my surprise, I walked into watching the second best film of 2025 so far. I mean, we got 3 months left. Anything could happen. But The Long Walk is another adaptation of a Stephen King novel. Now, this guy's brain is something else. To come up with as many ideas as he has, I must say, it is inspiring.
How the fuck do you write so many books so fast?
I do have some favorite Stephen King adaptations. Let's start with Stand By Me, which might have been the first adaptation I'd seen of his. I saw It, the TV version, but I'm gonna stick with strictly films.
Get your pick. Billy boy.
To Stand By Me had some cracking performances from our 4 lead characters, but Kiefer Sutherland smashed it out of the park as well. It's just a well-told story about 4 best friends navigating their way and surviving life in the 1950s. For instance, we've got leeches, high school bullies. There's one of the best adaptations I've ever seen from a Stephen King novel.
I always gravitated toward the ones that were less supernatural and more grounded. The stories like The Long Walk that have a very grounded, authentic feeling to them, or Misery is another one of my favorite, books of his.
James Caan kidnapped by an Oscar-deserving performance from Kathy Bates in one tense little movie, and that ankle scene, oh my days! Then we got Carrie, the 1970s version, which was haunting and well crafted by the Scarface director himself, Brian De Palma. I wish I could say the same for the updated 2000s version with the girl from Kick-Ass.
Corn syrup. Same stuff they use for Pig's Blood and Carrie.
The Mist is my favorite Frank Darabont movie and also my favorite Stephen King adaptation, which has a different ending from the book and actually works better, not only in my opinion, but Stephen King's as well, the 80s Running Man. And then we've got Edgar Wright's one coming out very, 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 very soon. I really enjoyed Dr. Sleep, and there's obviously the Shawshank Redemption and the Green Mile, which a lot of people have claimed that they cried at the end. Well, I've got to say, I am one who didn't cry at the end of Green Mile, but I can confirm that I cried like a baby at the end of The Long Walk.
This is all about relationships and how they matter more than anything you can work for your whole life that's material.
Now, I do have spoilers ahead, people. By the way, I highly recommend you watch this movie. An absolute sleeper hit of the year.
I think it's a tiny film about bonding and brotherhood and a deeper meaning of what America was.
The film kicks off with text on screen that thanks the participant for volunteering to take this long walk where only one person wins and all the other participants will get excommunicated, aka unlived, aka given their ticket.
Most of our characters were coming from, extreme poverty, and that was, a lot of the reasoning that they were even in this position to begin with. And that's, specific to some characters. You are witnessing guys who are kind of on the fringes to a degree.
Let me just start by saying the film does deviate from the book, like the number of participating young men, which is 50 instead of 100. Definitely a good thing. I don't want a 3-hour film. Walking speed is 3 miles per hour instead of 4, which also makes sense for filming, considering these guys are already having to walk for the duration of the movie.
We're on day 7 of the long walk. Mile 25.
But doing 4 miles per hour, guy's gonna be panting. Yeah, what's my line again?
Stephen King wants it reduced to 3, and I wrote back to the email and I was like, it says 4 in the book. Does he not know that?
And to be fair, there's plenty more details that are specific to the film and differ from the book, which you can tell me about in the comments down below.
We had to amalgamate characters. We had to sort of eliminate characters, but I didn't want them to be eliminated completely, so we would maybe take one away, but spread them around, and you'll find the DNA of other characters and certain characters you love.
One of the strongest aspects from this film are the characters and the actors portraying them.
If I didn't get the characters right, the movie wouldn't work.
If you don't have good actors pulling off good performances, then you get Hurry Up Tomorrow.
I wanted people, after they saw this movie, to feel like they'd lost friends, because that's how Stephen King made me feel.
So let's start off with our main character, Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, Cooper Hoffman, who plays Raymond Garrity, number 47. And from the production notes, underneath Ray's easygoing manner is a passionate, natural leader who's deeply empathetic. His closeness to his mother makes participation in the long walk a tough choice. They tried to make you feel that at the beginning.
I love you, Mom.
Wait.
Mom, I can't.
Was I supposed to cry? Like the mum jumps out at her son in desperation, not wanting to let go of knowing that this little porker has to beat 49 other guys. And seriously, Cooper Hoffman to win this walking race? Are you kidding me?
When we meet her, she's been arguing a lot with her son to change his mind about signing up for this walk.
Any of you can win. Any of you can do it if you walk long and steady enough. If you refuse to give up.
I agree, yes, I'm sorry, that's what I was thinking. Let's believe in the process, guys. Anyone can win.
Hey, I'm Ray Garrity.
Pig. Peter McVries.
Oh, how convenient that these two just bump into each other. Looks like Ray and Peter McVitie's emerge as natural allies, and over time, they will develop this true friendship that sets the groundwork for this movie.
Cooper's great. I don't envy the job that he has. I mean, he has to anchor this whole thing, him and David. You know, the two of them, they're really the central dynamic of the walk. They're the hub, right? And me and all the other characters, we're the spokes that go out.
I like you. But if you fall over, I won't pick you up.
Oh yeah, so we have here Peter McVries, number 23, played by David Jonsson. Via production notes, exuding confidence, gracious Peter McVries is an aspirational figure with a deep well of empathy and grit. He's the spiritual core of the group, even as he grapples with the ghosts of his past that brought him to this moment.
David's my partner in crime. David is a ridiculously talented actor, and he does it with so much empathy, so much compassion, so much kind of selflessness. And I think that David is someone who has a lot of selflessness, and I think that it shows in Pete.
And honestly, David Jonsson is the main reason I almost started to cry twice during this film. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give it to him and Cooper. I ain't both of them, but I couldn't hold the emotions back come the end of the movie. But David Jonsson, I mean, if they're going to nominate him for a Best Supporting Actor against Sean Penn and Delroy Lindo, they might as well just say, you know what? We're giving all of you an award this year, because it's a bit unfair choosing a favourite, Delroy Lindo.
To each his own.
And horror, in general, has just been such an interesting genre at the moment. And it isn't just body horror, like The Ugly Stepsister. It can be psychological. Like with The Long Walk, it takes its toll physically, but also mentally, which is played on quite heavily in this film. The most grotesque stuff was when the kid's ankle was broken. It was just like stumpy. Oh, I hated that scene. I couldn't watch it. But it made the film more powerful as a result. I feel like it got the desired reaction from myself. Oh yeah, broken ankle is Rick Richard Harkness, played by Jordan Gonzalez. An eager, bookish Harkness is an aspiring journalist who carries a notepad around with him during the walk to chronicle the journey for posterity. But Ray and Peter remind Harkness that to do that, he'll have to survive every last mile, and in the end, stand alone. I mean, he does stand alone at the end with his stumpy ankle. Ouch. But seriously though, who doesn't love a good body horror movie?
They say heavier guys get tired quicker.
Shit.
Heavier guys are slower, yes, David, but you two are the final two though, right? Right?
Look at Superman.
Yeah, he built.
No body fat on that guy, Jesus.
Stebbins, number 38, called the fitness nut and Superman before the walk begins. Blonde-haired, jelly sandwich eating Stebbins seems like the one to beat to his fellow walkers. He's strong and tall with a tough exterior and also claims he hasn't been sick for over 10 years. That spoiler alert, he gets a cold, guys. He gets a cold.
Hey, what lands to the slaughter, huh?
Then we got the annoying voice guy being introduced.
Boys, I am raring to
Thank you, David. Seriously, what a silly choice. But I love that the filmmakers played on it.
The accent was on the page?
No, this is the only. No, that part wasn't on.
That accent was not on the page.
The accent was crazy. I don't know what came over me when I saw it in that audition tape.
Hank Holson, number 46, played by Ben Wang, street smart, superstitious, and always ready to share an unsolicited and unfiltered opinion.
Yeah, well, his planet of stuff that comes out of an asshole bears suspicious resemblance.
Yeah, that was definitely unfiltered. Hank bonds with Ray, Peter, and Arthur to form a group they call the Four Musketeers. He has a deep knowledge of the Long Walk's history and winning strategies.
Gotta be aggressive. I did my research on a major. He says you want to win this thing, you gotta be raring to rip.
But will it be enough to sustain him when his body begins to fail? Do you want the answer? I'll give it to you.
I did it wrong! I'm sorry I was dead! He's dead when you were gonna lose you too!
And talking of Arthur Baker, number 6, played by Tut Nyott, having grown up dirt poor, Arthur is more than ready to undergo the punishing demands of the Long Walk for a lifetime of riches and the fulfillment of his wish to travel to the moon in a space rocket.
Just want to walk and maybe make some friends.
Yeah, so what do you want? Do you want to go space traveling? Do you want to walk and make some friends? I mean, he's good in this film, especially when he dies later on. My mate was telling me how he got emotional during his scene. In my opinion, he was just longing out his death. Blood spluttering out of his mouth whilst the two blokes are carrying him. Just fucking put him down, man. He's holding you back.
To each his own.
And then we have the antagonist of the film, kinda, in Gary Barkovich, number 5, played by Charlie Plummer. The self-appointed agitator of the group, Gary Barkovich has a strategy to mercilessly taunt his co-competitors while using his own camera to capture the Long Walk experience from the inside, but cracks start to appear in Barkovich's aggressive front as he's targeted with his contempt and ridicule.
Yeah, it's raring to rip. Man, you sound like my Meemaw on the bowl in the morning, man. Right, guys?
Yeah, so he gets off on the wrong foot, which I felt was relatable. I've done this before and it alienates you. You're pretty much out of the clique already.
The fuck is a Meemaw?
It's not going to be easy redeeming yourself.
Something that I figured out kind of early on, which is a really sad thought, but I think for Barkovich, this is the most quality time he's had with guys his age, maybe ever. There's almost this kind of giddiness of, even though walking to your death, there's still this brotherhood and this camaraderie that, you know, for I think Barkovich means more than really anything.
I found him one of the most interesting characters, especially when he says to David,
I got plans for you, motherfucker.
I thought, oh my god, this is gonna get violent.
I can't wait to see your brains all over the concrete, Barkovich. You know, I'll cheer when it happens.
But you know what? Nothing actually happens. He just gets upset and then offs himself. It was the only thing that was left with a question mark on the film. Maybe there was a deleted scene somewhere, or was I watching the whole film? I'm not too sure. We also have Curly, number 7, played by Roman Griffin Davis. And he's the first one to be offed. given his ticket. Then the credits roll. Really good intro to the film, to be fair, but the true antagonist has to be Mark Hamill's The Major. There is not much known about this authoritarian true believer, aside from serving as the figurehead and originator of the grueling televised competition known as The Long Walk. Menacing behind his dark sunglasses, The Major barks slogans meant to both motivate and intimidate contestants.
Shut the f up. Holy sh.
That's the spirit, my boy! That's the killer fucking instinct!
A ruthless enforcer whose mysterious connection to several walkers is gradually revealed. I could give it away about what's going on with the several walkers who have connections to the Major, but I'm not going to. Because yeah, I want to give away spoilers, but I don't want to give away everything. Now, things happen during the film with a lot of death, a lot of sorrow, a lot of strategy plans which don't work, and a shit ton of reflection. I'm not going into it. Honestly, I don't even want to reveal the end. All I can say is that I cried very hard with how well the scene was played out. The camera shot, the dialogue, the acting, the rain, the music. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about the music for this film.
There is an extreme darkness to the movie, and what I wanted was to sort of play against that a little bit, and I wanted something that was a little more lyrical and a little more beautiful and definitely emotional.
So I like the idea of like a little bit of sugar with the medicine. If you have this beautiful piano, let's temper it with a little bit of something that it is Stephen King. Let's not let the listener completely relax.
I didn't want to lean into the darkness. I actually kind of wanted to lean into the other colors in the movie and more of the emotion that's at the heart of it and the camaraderie at the heart of it.
I was really clinging on to the element of almost like Stand By Me. There needs to be, we need to play off this plutonic love, but it was very deep love, especially between McVries and Ray, these two boys that find, you know, in my mind, they almost fall in love with each other by the end of the story. It's a very beautiful, heartfelt relationship that ultimately there can only be one winner. We're in the Stephen King universe.
For me, there is and should be a sort of timeless nature to the movie. It does feel at times when you watch it that there's sort of elements of kind of a period piece and you can't quite peg what time it sort of takes place.
There's a few bits that I wanted to talk about. Like, I was very curious as to what would happen if a contestant needed to go for a wee, and then all of a sudden...
Watch out, boys! Incoming!
Oh, what the hell you got in my shoes?
Or even if they needed to take a poo. And later on in the film, all is revealed. And I was left satisfied coming out of the film with 98% of my questions answered. Apart from Barkovich, obviously, he's the 2% there, claiming that he's got a plan for my man McVitie's. This running theme from Cooper character's Ray Garrity with his mum is so well played throughout the film. I mean, that got me eventually. Like, the first scene, I'm laughing. The last scene, I'm crying. That film was effective. And I love the message of friendship, even if it does end in tragedy.
Ray loves Pete and Pete loves Ray, and that they are willing to sacrifice themselves throughout the story to keep them alive, to keep them in their lives. And I think that the best part about this movie is the fact that it is a simulation of life.
But I would love you lot to comment on whether you cried or not, because I felt like this was an emotionally charged psychological horror movie that is up there with the best Stephen King adaptations. It's a strong movie.
Beyond the rules of the game, there's like a deeper meaning as to what it is. Part of it is entertainment, and part of it is what the human condition can do. And I think that that's what this film balances so well. It's a wonderful dichotomy.